Good morning once again, mathematics learners. So we are now about to discuss quarter 3 module 2. Actually module 2 ito, all about combinations. So once again, we are using our modules from the Department of Education. So umpisa na tayo. Skip ko to, tapos ito. So after going through the module, you are expected to illustrate the combination of objects. Specifically, you will define combination, determine whether the statement is combination or not, find number of combination of objects taken are at a time, and then solves problems involving combination. So let us study. In the previous module, you have learned that permutation refers to the different possible arrangements of a set of objects where order is important. You have also learned about the methods of determining the number of permutations of objects and solve problems involving permutations. So, umpisa tayo sa can you tell? Direction. Identify each task, whether order is important or not. So just write OII if order is important, and ONI if order is not important on the space before each number or in your answer sheet. So once again, pag sinabing order is important, pag maiba yung arrangement, it would be a different meaning. So example, yan, entering PIN of your ATM card. So ang order ba nito important ba o hindi? So example, kung ang PIN mo is 812, so pwede kang mag-transact sa ATM card. What if ang nalagay mo is 128? Possible ba na ma-open yung account mo dyan? Yes or no? So hindi. So is the order important? So yes, indeed. So ano yung susulat natin dito? Order is important. So you're going to write OII. Yan. Number 2, winning in a swimming contest. So pagpalagay natin ikaw yung first, tapos ang second yung classmate mo na isa, tapos yung third yung kapitbahay mo. What if iba yung first? Ang first is yung kapitbahay mo, second ikaw, ang third yung classmate mo. Pareho ba sila? Hindi. So hindi. So is order important? Very good. So we write OII. How about opening a combination lock of a vault? Is order important? Kung may iba ba yung pagkalagay ng code sa combination lock, ma-open mo ba yung lock na yan sa vault? Siyempre hindi. So is order important? Very good. So OII. Now, ito, number 4. Selecting 3 posters to hang out of 6 different places. Ang order ba nito important? So, hindi. Kasi you are just selecting posters. Kahit alin dyan yung unahin mo, second, third, the same pa rin yung counting dyan. So, ang susulat natin ito is ONI. Yan. Number 5. Selecting 7 people to form a committee for contact tracing. So, kailangan ba yung order nito? Hindi. So, syempre hindi. So, it won't matter kung sino yung nauna, nahuli, kasi you are just selecting 7 people. So, O and I. Yan. Number 6. Drawing a set of 4 numbers in a lottery containing numbers 1 to 42. Is order important? Kumuha ka lang man ng 4 na numbers. So, in any order yan. So, O and I pa rin. Yan. Number 7. Assigning rooms to parents who will get modules for their students. So, is order important? Yes, kasi what if si parent 1 nandun sa room A, tapos parent 2 sa B, at saka sa C, yung parent 3. So, it would be different naman kung ang na-assign sa room 1 is si parent 2, sa room B, si parent 1. At saka sa room 3, sa room C is parent 3. So, order is important. So, I. Number 8. Selecting 3 among 7 nurses. So, you are just selecting. So, in any order yan. So, O and I. And then, choosing 5 questions to answer out of 15 questions. You are just simply choosing. So, it won't matter kung alin yung nauna. So, O and I. And lastly, number 10, choosing 4 books to borrow out of 7 books of his interest. In the library, O and I pa rin. Kasi it won't matter kung ano yung subject yung gusto mong unahin kunin na book. So, this would be our guide questions. So, when can you say that order is important? What are your keywords in identifying order? Is not important. O, tingnan mo yung mga answer natin dito. Then, how we come up with O and I. How do you call those tasks where order is important? So, lesson natin yan. Ang tawag dyan is permutation. Permutation. Tapos, how about those tasks where order is not important? So that would be our lesson for today. From the statements above, each situation which indicates that order is not important is called, ito na, combination. So combination is the number of ways of selecting from a set of objects where order is not important. So take note of the word selecting, then order is not important. So the number of combinations of n objects taken r at a time is denoted by C. nr equals n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial, where n should be greater than or equal to r. So dapat mas malaki yung value ng n compared to r. Or pwede rin ang n at saka r the same. So in determining the combination of objects, you will have to identify the values of n, the object, and r, the number of objects taken at a time. Then simply substitute in the formula. So balikan ko lang, yung n dyan, yung ilan lahat, no? Sometimes all yan. Tapos yung r, kung ilan lang yung pwede taken. Yan. So, number 1, evaluate C14, 5. So, solution natin. Itong 14, ito yung N. Ang 5 naman, ito yung R. So, formula natin, we have C and R equals N factorial over R factorial times N minus R factorial. So, ang N natin dito is 14. Yan. Tapos, ang R is 5, then factorial, tapos N minus R, so 14 minus 5 factorial. So, take note that 5 factorial, we already discussed this kahapon, or sa permutation natin. 5 factorial is equal to 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Yan. And then, 5 factorial, 14 factorial, alam na natin yan. So, 14 times 13 times 12 hanggang umabot tayo ng 1. Yet dito, hanggang 9 factorial na lang. Since 14 minus 5 is 9 factorial, and alam natin na 9 factorial is 9 times 8 times 7 hanggang times 1. Ito rin 9 times 8 times 7 hanggang times 1. So, stop natin dito. Pwede ito makancel. Then, maghahanap tayo ng pwede makancel dito. So, elementary math, no? So, ang natira na lang dito is 14 times 13 times 11. Okay? Kung titingnan din dito, bakit ito na-cancel? 14 times 3 is 12. So, 4, 3, cancel yan dito sa, again sa 12 dito sa taas. Then, 5 times 2 is 10. So, pwede mo i-cancel yung 10 sa taas at saka 5 at saka 2. So, that is why 14 times 13 times 11 na lang. So, 2002. Ang answer when C, 14.5. Number 2. Find the value of n in C and 2 equals 78. So, ano ngayon yung value ng n na ilalagay natin dito para maging equals 78. So, algebraically, ito yung magiging solution natin. C and R equals n factorial over R factorial n minus R factorial. So, since C and 2 is 78, ito yan. So, equals n factorial. We don't have the value of n yet. Over R, n factorial. So, R factor 2 factorial times n minus 2 factorial. So, take note that n factorial is n minus 1 times n minus 2 times n minus 3. Actually, parang may kulang to. Mayroon pa tong n na nandito. N factorial. N times n minus 1 times n minus 2 hanggang umabot tayo ng 1. So, dito, since n minus 2, makikita man sa baba. So, kung ang factor ng n factorial is n times n minus 1 times n minus 2, so hanggang dito lang tayo. Kasi, yung objective dito is makancel yung n minus 2 factorial at saka n minus 2 factorial. So, what is left is n times n minus 1 over 2 factorial. Then, equals 78. Then, 2 factorial means 2 times 1. So, 2 times 1 is 2. Tapos, we do the cross multiplication. Cross multiply natin yan. So, 78 times 2 is 156 equals n squared minus n. Since n times n is n squared, n times negative 1 is negative n. Tapos, we do the algebra. So, we're going to make the left side of the equation be equal to 0. So, ilalagay natin sa kabila yung 156. So, it becomes negative 156. Okay. So, n squared minus n minus 156 equals 0. So, n, yung factoring, grade 7, grade 8 mathematics. Ano yung factor ng negative 156 na kung i-add mo, magiging negative n. So, that would be positive 12 at saka negative 13. So, positive 12 times negative 13 is negative 156, while positive 12 minus 13 is negative 1. So, negative 1n. Then, solving for n. So, n plus 12 equals 0. N minus 13 equals 0. So, tapos, transpose. So, positive 12 becomes negative 12. While n minus 13, lagay sa kabila, minus 13 becomes positive 13. So, we choose the positive value. Therefore, n equals 13. So, bakit kailangan natin i-choose yung positive 13? Take note, we are referring to values ng n. And yung n na yan are considered objects, things, or all about mga arrangements, hindi arrangement, mga number of objects. So, we cannot have negative sign. So, therefore, n equals 13. So, we're going to check C13.2. So, C13.2 is 13 factorial over 2 factorial 13 minus 2 factorial, 13 times 12 times 11. So, bakit 11 factorial yan? Kasi 13 minus 2 is 11, then factorial. So, we end lang dito para makancel ka agad. So, 13 times 12 is 156, while 2 factorial, 2 times 1 is 2. So, 156 divided by 2 is 78. So, it checks that yung answer natin kanina coincides sa problem. Okay, so number 3. Find R in C 9R equals 126. So, yung kanina sa number 2 is we're looking for the value of N. This time, yung value ng R. So, ganun pa rin. Substitute the given values. So, wala tayong R, meron tayong N. So, ang N natin is 9, then factorial, tapos R, wala tayong R, then factorial, times 9 minus R factorial. So, since wala tayong makancel, so let's proceed. So, 126 has a denominator of 1. Cross multiply. Yan. So, ito na. So, 126 times the quantity of R factorial times 9 minus R factorial equals 1 times 9 factorial is 9 factorial. And then, 9 factorial, we simply divide both sides by 126 kasi number lang man itong 126. 9 factorial, number lang din yan. So, divided by 126. So, ang matira na lang dito is ito na lang. Yan. So, R factorial times 9 minus R factorial equals, yan, 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 factorial over 126. So, later, you will know bakit hanggang 5 factorial lang tayo. So, 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 is 3024. Then, times 5 factorial equals 126. And then, ito. Kasi, actually, pwede mo man ito i-continue until you reach times 1 sa 5 factorial. Tapos, times mo na naman sa 3024. And then, divide ka na naman ulit by 126. Pwede yan. So, dito lang, R factorial times 9 minus R factorial equals 24 times 5 factorial. And 24 can be expressed as 4 factorial. So, 4 factorial times 5 factorial. So, dito, it is equated that ang R factorial is 4 factorial. So, ito naman, 9 minus R factorial times 5 factorial. So, therefore, R is equal to 4. Since ang 9 minus R natin, kung 4 ang R, 9 minus R is equal to 5 factorial, which is ito. So, it only means that there are two values of R that will satisfy the value. To find the other value, use N minus R. So, sobrang haba ng solution but wala tayong choice but ito lang. So, C9R equals 126. So, mayroon tayong dalawa kasi pwede man din na 5 yung R. Since 9 minus 5 is 4 factorial din. So, kung titingnan mo yung solutions, it will come up with 126. So, whether yung R is 4 or 5. Okay, number 4. The barangay functionaries created groups to distribute the food packs to the indigent families. During the pandemic, in how many ways can they form a group of 4 members from 8 people? So, based dito, you are just selecting 4 members from 8 people. So, this is a kind of combination. Kasi you are just selecting. So, no need to arrange. So, whether sino yung nauna, it doesn't matter. So, N equals 8, R equals 4. So, take note ulit. N should be greater than or equal to R. So, So C and R equals n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial. This is our formula. So substituting the given values, then tingnan nyo kung may makancel, and we come up with C84 equals 70. So therefore, there are 70 ways that you can select 4 members from 8 people to become barangay functionaries. Number 5. From the 8 pillows and 6 blankets, in how many ways can one select 2 pillows and 3 blankets to give as a gift? So solution, there are 2 objects, so pillows and blankets. So we're going to solve it separately first. So sa pillows, mayroon tayong ilang pillows lahat? 8. While ilan lang yung iselect natin sa out of 8 pillows? Mayroon tayong 2. So n equals 8, r equals 2. So ito yung magiging solution natin. So look at a solution. Look at kung bakit 6 factorial hanggang 6 factorial lang yan. Cancel. Okay, so C82 equals 28. While sa blankets, ilang blankets lahat? There are 6. Tapos ilan lang yung iselect out of 6 blankets? 3. Yan, 3. So n equals 6, r equals 3. So C63 equals 6 factorial over 3 factorial times 6 minus 3 factorial. So look at the solution and try to see bakit hanggang 3 factorial lang yan. Then how we come up with C63 equals 20. So applying the fundamental counting principle, multiply the 2 results. So n equals C82 times C63. So C82 yung kanina is 28 times 20. So 560 ways. Okay, number 6. Rita has several plants in her garden. She decided to give at least 5 plants to her friend from her 8 favorite flowers. In how many ways can she do it? So at least 5 means Rita may give 5, 6, 7, or 8. Diba? At least, hindi bababa sa 5. So, pwedeng 5, pwedeng 6, pwedeng 7, or pwede rin 8. Since there are 8 favorite flowers. So, una, when 8 yung n is equal to 8, r equals 5. Okay, so look at the solution again. And look at how it arrives with C85 equals 56. How about when r equals 6? So C86. Look at the solution again and how it arrives with C86 equals 28. And how about C87? Tingnan maigi yung solution, tapos study bakit 8 yung answer. And take note that C88 is equal to 1. Bakit kaya 1? Okay, hindi yata na sabi dito sa module na to. How about kung may calculator ka? Sige. So, pagpalagay natin, we have C85. In your calculator, all you need to do is to look for the keyboard button na 8, tapos hanapin niyo yung NCR. Yan. Sometimes nasa second function yan siya, so do not forget, baka depende yan sa calculator. Sa ibang calculator, press mo muna yung shift, tapos look for NCR. Or second F, pwede rin. Second F. May mga ganito na mga key button sa ibang calculator. Tapos press 5. Then do not forget yung equal sign. Kung ang makuha mo is 56, so in other words, tama yung answer mo. Pero pag hindi, so there's something wrong sa mga key buttons na na-press mo. So try mo rin yung C88 sa calculator. Actually, meron din yan yata sa cellphones. Depende rin sa cellphones. May mga calculator din sa cellphones na may mga ganito na function. NCR. So, question? Wala. So, once again, let us remember if there is a set S with n elements and if R is a non-negative integer less than or equal to n, then each subset of S containing R distinct elements is called a combination. So, this is the definition of combination kung in reference lang sa mga books. So, combination is the number of ways of selecting from a set of objects where order is not important. So, sa combination, do not forget, order is not important. So, regardless of alin yung nauna, ang next, ang third, ang fourth, hanggang last, it won't matter. So, the number of combinations of n objects taken R at a time is denoted by the formula C and R equals n factorial over R factorial times n minus R factorial, where n should be greater than or equal to R. Okay, so this ends our part 1 of our lesson all about Mathematics Quarter 3 Module 2 Combinations. See you. Thank you for listening.